Okay, today's lesson we are looking at inequalities. So what are inequalities? So when we are looking at inequalities, we are looking at like our greater than or equal to sign, less than, and less than or equal to sign. So I have a quick video to show on graphing and solving inequalities, and then we'll take a look at some examples. So So when we're looking at inequalities, we're going to be using the same methods that we have been using to solve equations. There's just two rules that we have to follow. The biggest rule or the main rule is if you multiply or divide by a negative number. In the very last step, if you multiply or divide by a negative number when you're solving an inequality, we have to flip the sign. So if we had a less than sign, it would flip to a greater than sign. And I'll show you examples of that happening. So a less than sign would become a greater than sign, or a greater than sign would become a less than sign, only if you multiply or divide by a negative number in the last step. Lastly is if it's a ratio type inequality. This is how we've been solving them anyways. If it was a ratio type, you multiply the top left by the bottom right of the other side, and you place it on the left-hand side of your inequality. And that's how we've been doing inequalities anyway. So just some review on when we're graphing. You have an open dot when it's just a greater than sign. If it's a greater than or equal to sign, you would have a closed dot. Same thing if you have a less than sign, it would be an open dot. If it's a less than or equal to sign, it will be a closed dot sign. Okay, and I'll show you that again in the examples when we graph on our number lines. So let's take a look at our first example here. So it does say we have to solve and graph each of the following inequalities. So rules are the exact same as when we are solving equations. So our first step here is going to be to subtract 7 on both sides. So subtracting 7 on both sides. That leaves me here with 3x is less than 22 minus 7, which is 15. So here is what it looks like now. 3x is less than 15, and we're going to divide by 3 on both sides. And that leaves me with x is less than 15 divided by 3, which is 5. So our last step now is to show this on a number line. So I'm just going to draw a line here. All right, and it's showing that x is less than 5, so I'm just going to put the 0 here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On this side, we would have our negatives. So you just need to show a bit on your number line. And because it's a less than symbol, our circle is going to be an open dot. So open circle like this. And x is less than 5, so we have to show our arrow pointing left, meaning x can be any number less than 5. All right, so I'm just going to pause here and see if there's any questions. Okay, so next example, we have decimal numbers, and we have our inequality shown here. So similarly, we're just going to start solving for x. So our first step is to subtract the 6.5 on both sides. We're subtracting 6.5 on both sides. On the left-hand side, that leaves us with 7x is greater than or equal to, and then 27.5 minus 6.5, which gives me 21. All right, last step, we're dividing by 7 on both sides. That leaves me with x is greater than or equal to 3. All right, our last thing we have to do here is graph that. So set up the number line again. And you can also put the arrows on the ends of the number lines because they do go on for forever. So I can show my arrows at the ends of the number lines like that. All right, so again, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll just show some negatives on that side. And here's my 3. It's greater than or equal to, so I do have to fill in my circle like this. And greater than, we are going to be pointing it to the right side. All right, so this means that x can equal to 3 or any number greater than 3. And that's how we show it on our number line. All right, so negative 4x minus 8 is less than 12. So our first thing we're going to do here is we got to add 8 to both sides. And that leaves me with a negative 4x is less than 12 plus 8 here, which is 20. All right, now here we are dividing by a negative number. Negative 4, we are dividing by negative 4. This is where we have to reverse the sign because we are dividing by a negative number. All right, so negative 4 leaves me with just x. We have to reverse the sign. It now becomes greater. And then 20 divided by negative 4, that is negative 5. All right, so very important. This is the step here for rule number 1 where we got to reverse the sign if we multiply or divide by a negative number. So we have reversed the sign now. It is showing now that x is greater than negative 5. All right, so let's draw our number line again. Okay, again, show your arrows on the two ends to show it continues forever. Negative 5, so let's just put 0 here. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, like that. An open circle, and it's greater than negative 5, so we have to point to the right. All right, showing that negative 5 is not included in our answer. It's any number greater than negative 5. So we've pointed our arrow to the right. All right, so we have a ratio type question here. So we're going to take our top left, multiply it by the bottom right. 7x times 3. I'm just going to show it in brackets that we're multiplying. And then we have our inequality. And then we have 3 times negative 28. So I'm just going to show that step here as well. Okay, so now we can go ahead and multiply. 7x times 3, that is 21x, is less than or equal to 3 times negative 28, which is negative 84. All right, we're dividing by a positive number. We are dividing by 21, so we don't have to change our sign. We're not reversing it. And then x is less than or equal to negative 84 divided by 21 is negative 4. All right, so x is less than or equal to negative 4. We have to draw our number line. Okay, so I'll just put my 0 here. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. On this side we have 1 and 2. All right, it is less than or equal to. So we have to fill in our circle. And then it is a less than, so our arrow is going to point to the left. Okay, so for this example, we have 4x minus 6 is greater than or equal to 5x minus 8. So just like solving a regular equation, we like to bring our x over to the left side. So we're going to subtract 5x on both sides. So on the left side, I end up with negative 1x minus 6 is greater than or equal to negative 8. Next step, I have to add the 6 to both sides. Okay, that leaves me with negative 1x is greater than or equal to negative 2. Okay, because negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2. Okay, but we still haven't solved for x. We do have to divide by negative 1. So dividing by negative 1 on both sides, that's where we have to reverse the sign or reverse the symbol there. Okay, because we are dividing by a negative number. So now we end up with x is less than or equal to 2, because negative 2 divided by negative 1 is positive 2. Okay, and then the last step would be to draw that number line. Just going to squeeze it in here at the bottom. Okay, so here's 0, 1, 2, we got the negative 1 here. It is less than or equal to, so we do have to fill in our dot here. And it is a less than, so we point our arrow to the left. All right, I'll pause here and let you guys try the next one. This next example, we have a negative 5x and we have a positive 3x on the same side of the equation. So here, before we start, we can collect those two together. Negative 5x plus 3x, that gives me negative 2x. Then I have the plus 2, and it's greater than negative 18. All right, now I can go ahead and start solving for x. So I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides. So I have negative 2x is greater than negative 18 minus 2, or negative 18 plus negative 2, however you want to put that in your calculator. But negative 18 minus 2, or negative 18 plus negative 2 gives you the same answer, which is negative 20. All right, and last step here, we are dividing by negative 2. It's a negative number, so we have to remember to reverse the symbol. So it becomes x is less than 10. Negative 20 divided by negative 2 is 10. All right, so x is less than 10. Lastly, is our number line. I'll just draw it up here. All right, so make sure we have our 10 showing, and I'll just show some more like this. Okay, and it is not including the 10, so we have our open dot, and it's less than 10, so we are pointing our arrow to the left. All right, so we'll stop here for today.